Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We are all George. Been having some internet issues. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I'm going to try it by streaming from my internet connection from my phone, as things are seeming like it's working right now. But I may have to end this stream early if something goes wrong. But the purpose of this stream is I do believe I have a reason for the dip and why you guys should not fall for it. There is a new trick I believe that is being played, but still I'm going to show you exactly what's going on and also why you should not be panicking. There's a lot of people that haven't gone through small dips like this, and I've been helping you guys, educating you guys, hopefully helping you guys not to panic sell, helping you guys understand that this is perfectly normal and why these happen all the time and why you should not fall for it in terms of the tricks that are being played on Bitcoin and the market. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash with a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All right, guys, a lot of people already tuned in. Let's see how long this lasts. Let me turn the screen here. All right, so Bitcoin is right around 45,000, a little bit lower, and people are panicking like, oh, wow, Bitcoin fell below the 45,000 mark, right? Well, if you zoom in a little bit, you'll realize that that has happened. Just actually a day ago, Bitcoin fell down to about 44,000 before recovering, and right now, that is what is looking like it wants to do, Bitcoin, in terms of it is flipping up, and it looks like it wants to turn up, right? But why is this happening? You know, I just got done saying this earlier this afternoon, yesterday, right? We seem to be stuck in between this channel about 48.7 and 45. And it just seems like whoever is trying to do this, I don't know what the reason is, but it seems like they're getting smarter. It seems like they're getting smarter. So I know a lot of you guys know that I follow F2Pool. A lot of you guys do too. And you probably set like a notification or alert or something when there's a big spike, right? And I think whoever's doing this, whether it's some whale or whales or F2Pool combination, I think they're getting a little bit smarter. So if you're looking at just general things, for example, if you look at all exchange inflows, and I'm gonna move my camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about, you can see, nothing. In fact, this looks pretty normal, right? If you look at all exchange inflow, so that means there must be no one, dumping Bitcoins onto the spot exchanges. Well, what about all miners outflow? Well, if you look at this, obviously these big jumps were from F2Pool, and then you look at, okay, why is there nothing, right? But if you look closer, you realize that is not the full story. I think there's a new trick being played, and that is to just sell enough and do a lot of it. And this is what I'm talking about. Obviously, something like this, stands out. When you have like 3,600 Bitcoins or 3,200 Bitcoins or 2,500 Bitcoins flow out of F2Pool, it's pretty easy to detect, right? But then you look at these. You look at these smaller ones, and they're pretty significant. They look much tamer than the bigger bars. But if you look closely, that's 1,000, that's 1,000, that's 500, that's 400, 500, 400, and you add all these up, guess what? They add up to a significant amount. So that is the reason why Bitcoin is stuck in this range. And if you just tally it up, this is the hourly. You go to the daily, and then you'll realize that that tally is actually very, very significant. The day where there was a big outflow, 14,000, that was a lot. But guess what? The day afterwards was still a lot, 8,500 outflow. And even today, there was still 4,000 outflow. So as you can see, if you add these two, 8,500 and 4,000, that's like 13,000. That's just as much as this. So I believe, maybe, this is just a theory, we need more data, but this is just a theory of mine, that maybe the whale or whales or F2Pool, they're getting a little bit smarter and spreading out their outflows. And you could clearly see that the volume here, the outflow here versus here, there's a big difference, right? You could clearly see that the outflow here adds up to a lot more than here previously, right? So it definitely does add up. Now, what caused this tremendous sell-off besides the outflow? You know this is going somewhere, right? Well, I've been looking at Bitmex recently, and this happened a few times. So whenever Bitcoin has a huge like flash dump or just a crash out of nowhere, I'm noticing that whoever's behind the scene is utilizing Bitmex in a big way. Maybe not to a full extent, but obviously you could see Bitmex inflows of Bitcoin relatively small for most days. Most days is nothing. But on big dip days, of course, you see an inflow of 1,000, an inflow of a 500, right? And recently, even though Bitcoin's been holding around 45 and 46, you could see that huge inflows out of nowhere. Here's another 500 one, and of course, Bitcoin fell down to 45,000. Here's two more, 500. Guess what? Bitcoin fell down again to about 46,000. And guess what? Right now, there was another one that flew in about 400, and that was when it dropped to 45,000. And this next one, right, the one that dropped us below, there could be another one. There's actually some delay, right? So there is some data. Not everything is flowing to Bitmex. There's a lot of exchanges that CryptoQuant does not track, but I do feel like this is what's being done. It's just that they're trying to be a little bit more careful. But regardless of this, what's going on right now, the small dip, if you look at it from 40, 46, 47, where we were this morning to now, it's only a couple thousand, 1,000 points, right? So it's not like it flash crashed down to 30,000. So again, a lot of you guys may not be used to this, and I've showed data before. If you simply go back to any bull run, including the one in 2017 or any run that we had recently, there's been big dips. And you just need to go back. You just need to go back just about a month, and you'll see it. A month ago, it was actually a lot worse. From 42 down to 30. Actually, if you pay attention, if you actually zoom in, a lot of these were actually even worse. You could see that this, on the 4 hour, you can see a candlestick over here. This one fell from 35,000 all the way down to 27,000. So you do the math. And same thing over here. You could argue that it went from 38,000 and it dipped to 29,000. And over here too, 29.4 or something like that, right? So there's been big dips. Even if you go back, a month, but if you go back to 2017, you'll see that the parabolic move up, there was 5, 6, 7, 8 times when Bitcoin fell down 30% or 40% every single time. And every single time, there was a lot of FUD, a lot of fear, and people were like, oh, it's over. There's no way. It's done. But Bitcoin kept going and going and going. So this is perfectly natural. And you know what? I don't even want to focus on 2017. I just want to focus on what's going on within this year. I mean, 2017 seems so long ago, but I think some of you guys remember that when you go back to over here, the December timeframe, when Bitcoin hit 20,000 and everyone's sharing, yes, Bitcoin hit 20,000 again, or 19.8, 19, whatever, it was right before 20,000. People were like, yes, it's here. Guess what? Look at it. Went from 20,000 all the way down to 16,000. That's a big dump. And people, I mean, right now, no one cares, no one remembers, but yeah, it happened. It also happened here. And when that happened, same thing. People just thought the run was over. You have headlines like this: Bitcoin dips below 19,000 after surpassing 2017 all-time highs. Here's one: Bitcoin dips to enhance bearish indicator, having 20,000 price target. Well, what happened after all this bearish indicators? Well, Bitcoin doubled, literally doubled from $20,000 to $40,000. And let's not forget, when Bitcoin hit $40,000 on this insane run, guess what? It fell down. It fell down to $30,000. And again, people are like, the run is over. There's no way it can continue, right? Look at this headline: Bitcoin briefly tumbles below 30,000, falling 12% so far this week. And this kind of picture just really scares you. And then, of course, you have FUD coming out. Ex-Goldman Sachs CEO issues serious Bitcoin warnings amid price crash fears. Again, this is when we hit 42,000, dipped below to about $29,000. And again, all the headlines were saying, it's done. It's done. And guess what? Shortly afterwards, Bitcoin doubled again from basically that 29,000 mark, and we ended up at $58,000, right? So just going back 2 months, not even 3 years, just going back 3 months, we have experienced the same thing. And every time there is panic, right? But let me remind you guys where we are at 45,000. Let me remind you guys what I just showed you, that we were at 30,000 not too long ago. We were at 20,000 not too long ago. So this is definitely not time to be panicking. But again, I know a lot of you guys are new to the space and you're not used to it. But the number one rule is do not panic sell. That is the number one rule, because if you do that, most likely you're going to end up losing. You don't want to do that. I just got done actually creating a video last night about how the way to make massive gains in crypto is basically you buy the dips, you dollar cost average, and you HODL. That's simply it. So like a situation like right now, this is one of those situations where you definitely don't want to panic sell. If you've been buying the dips, you've been dollar cost averaging, you've been doing it right? And you simply basically dollar cost average, you buy the dips, and you HODL. That's it. That is the game plan. Because what we're seeing right now, it will be over sooner than we all expect, and we'll forget about it soon. Because let's remember, 20,000 to 40,000, right? 30,000 to 60,000, and this next leg up can go from 45,000 all the way at $90,000, and then no one's going to remember this at all. That's just what's going to happen, right? So hopefully that kind of reassures some of you guys that we have seen plenty of these situations, even going back a few months, not even talking about a few years, right? And let's not forget the ultimate one back in 2020. My fault. Let's just go back about 1 year ago. You know what happened 1 year ago? This happened. Bitcoin price plunged 50% to $3,800 in 24 hours. A lot of you guys lived through this. This was less than a year ago. This was in March of 2020 when everything was getting destroyed. Wall Street was getting destroyed. Gold was getting destroyed. Bitcoin was getting destroyed. And you know what? Less than a year later, we are now more than 10x higher with Bitcoin, right? Back then, trust me, I was still streaming. So much fear, so much FUD. Even myself, I was affected. I was not in the best of moods, right? To go from 10,000 down to 6,000 to 3,800, that was scary. And when things fall down 50%, that's scary, okay? That would be equivalent of us falling to 22,000 tomorrow. But obviously, those of you guys that followed this dollar cost average strategy, this HODL strategy, well, now your 3,800 turn into $45,000, and you are sitting pretty, and you are not panicking. So this is the name of the game, and this was just less than 1 year ago. Just to remind you guys. All right. With that said, hopefully you guys caught my earlier video from this afternoon where I went over top 10 bargain altcoins besides Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still, of course, a bargain, but there's a lot of altcoins that's definitely on sale right now. Definitely a bargain, and this is definitely time to go shopping, in my opinion. Now, does this mean that this is the end? Could there be more dips? Could there be more sell-offs, more outflow from F2 pool, and more sell-offs at exchanges like Bitmex? Quite possibly. Remember, I did remind you guys that last time this happened in January, it kind of carried flat through the weekend, and then the following week, specifically Tuesday. I was wondering why Tuesday, not Monday, but there was no holidays or anything like that. But there's probably something significant on Monday. that I didn't catch. But then, you know, the next leg up started on Tuesday. So this weekend, like I kind of like predicted that we may just not see anything. Maybe sideways, maybe some up and downs, right? But then next week, I think will be better. But we will see. We will see. Even if it doesn't, it gives us more time to dollar cost average and buy and pick up more Bitcoin and some of these altcoins. In fact, you know what? Some of these altcoins are still holding fantastic. Back in the day, when I say back in the day, just back in 2020 and back in 2017, 18, 19, you know, these kind of dip days where Bitcoin goes down, let's say 6%, Ethereum will be down like 20%. Cardano, Polkadot didn't exist years ago, but you know, like Chainlink and all these guys, Uniswap didn't exist, but a lot of these big caps, Binance Coin, they will be down like 25, 30% right now with Bitcoin's dip. The fact that they're pretty much equal and some like Cardano is even holding stronger shows you how different it is right now, how many people believe in these projects, and how many people that have strong hands. They're just not willing to sell. And that is what we need to do. We need to stand together, like I said, you know, for the past week or two. We need to stand together. Don't fall for these traps, right? Don't fall for the manipulation. And we got to ignore the FUD, right? And what we got to do is take advantage collectively. If we all buy the dip and HODL, then everything is going to be fine and we're going to go much higher, right? So hopefully you guys take advantage of that. And it seems like my connection is still holding pretty well, so that's pretty good. All right, I'm going to turn. I said a lot. That's what I wanted to say. Hopefully that reassured some of you guys, right? Make you guys realize that this is perfectly natural. We will get through it. Let's do some quick Q&A and I'm going to let you guys go. It is late. I apologize. Not that you guys care, but my water heater started leaking very badly, so I had to take care of that, which is why I'm actually very tired. I didn't want to stream, but you know, I realize a lot of you guys need it. So, all right, let's do some quick Q&A. Man, the chat is popping. Fernando asks, how much is true about YouTuber backing up ETH because their own bags? I don't see a solution for ETH issues anytime soon. That's kind of true, but you know, it doesn't matter what YouTubers say. They're not going to cause Ethereum to go up or down either way. It's just too big for that. So I think it's true. They're not going to solve their scaling issue anytime soon. But the good thing is they don't have to. The dApps running on them are all trying to figure out what to do, like utilize layer 2 solutions and so forth. So it could be the case where Ethereum continues to develop Ethereum 2.0, but things like Chainlink, they came out their own layer 2 solution. And like Uniswap, they're working on it. Rumor that they're coming out their own, and Aave and all these other guys, you know, they're all looking at utilizing a layer 2 solution or creating their own or moving to a separate blockchain, which is the worst case scenario. A lot of them do not want to do that. So, I mean, yeah, I think it could be solved just by creativity from like these dApp makers. Chris asks, do you think ADA price will fall March 1st due to sell the news mentality? It could. I remember. Now, this is a different time because Cardano is definitely much bigger, much stronger. It's sitting at $38 billion. But I remember when Shelly was done, and there was a big pump before Shelly was done. Just like right now about Guggen, it's about to be done. I remember there was a huge pump. And then after Shelly was introduced, Cardano went flat. They didn't dump, but they went flat for a very long time. So that is a possibility. But again, this is a different scenario now. They're much bigger now. The progress is much more advanced. There's more people that believe in it. So who knows? Maybe it just continues on going. But it is one of the ones that have been holding very well and actually has been going higher. So we'll just have to see. Bamboy Blue, appreciate that. What else? Let's see. What's the likelihood we form a massive head and shoulders at BTC? I think It's likely if we hit 30,000. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see us going down to $30,000. I do think that we're going to get through this much sooner than most people realize. I think right now, yeah, there's still, weekends are generally lower volume. And when you still have, let's say, F2 pool or whatever whale that's behind it that's still trying to affect things with, let's say, leverage on a derivative exchange like Bitmex, there's going to be movement, right? But Bitcoin is strong. Bitcoin is strong. You have a lot of whales that's buying it. I have no doubt, even though that Michael Saylor just completed a $1 billion purchase, I have a feeling tomorrow or Monday, you go hear another tweet from him saying that I just bought another 10 million or 20 million of Bitcoin at dollar cost average, because he has been doing that. Remember last time when Bitcoin was falling around 30,000, 28,000, he bought 20 million additional Bitcoin because he decided to buy the dips, right? Now, obviously, this big buy, and I even questioned it when he bought it, because this big buy, he averaged at $52,000 for Bitcoin. And now this is about 8,000 less than what he bought it for, right? So it is a significant decline. Even though his dollar cost average is much lower, it is a significant one. But I do think he's not going to sit idle. I think he is going to be declaring that he bought some more. And others in the space, they're drooling over it. All the Wall Street guys that are, causing FUD, you got to realize they're causing FUD probably because they want to drive things lower so that they can pick up some more Bitcoins. Just like Scott Minerd, right? Remember Scott Minerd? He came out and said Bitcoin was worth $400,000. He admitted that Guggenheim have not bought any Bitcoins. Then he went out and said Bitcoin is too high, it's going to fall back down to 20,000, right? And then people looked at whale alerts and realized that $500 million worth of Bitcoin flew out of Coinbase and went somewhere. It was the exact amount that Guggenheim wanted to purchase. And guess what? Soon after that, Scott Minerd came out and said, yeah, Bitcoin is worth a lot higher. Like, he was flip-flopping like almost every week because he was trying to scare the market so that they could pick up more Bitcoin for cheap. So you got to realize a lot of these stories from these guys are set on purpose to drive fear to get you out so that they can buy more behind the scenes. And I know that is going to happen this upcoming week. There's going to be a lot of buying, and they won't tell you about it until it's after. Afterwards, they're like, oh, we bought this much Bitcoin. They're not going to tell you about it. Only Michael does that. Only Michael tells you right afterward. But even then, he doesn't tell you ahead of time. He tells you just like immediately afterwards. Tom, the mailman, that's pretty clever. The fact that F2 can do this over and over, I'm sure to rebuy the dips is a concern you long term. Name another investment asset where you can tolerate you tolerate this kind of foreign influence. Here's the thing, though. I think I don't know if it's luck, but we have this data. There is numerous kind of situations like this outside of crypto that you just don't realize. You just don't see it. I think we're just lucky that we're able to see it, but doesn't mean that it only happens with Bitcoin and crypto. And imagine this. Bitcoin throughout its existence, from pennies to dollars to tens of dollars to $100 to thousands of dollars, this has been happening. But guess what? It continued to thrive. It continued to go up. And it kept going up, and now it's at $45,000. So there's no doubt in my mind that Bitcoin will continue to go up. It'll continue to go up. There will be some periods where it's just weaker. It may not have anything to do with manipulation. And maybe there are periods where there is. But still, Bitcoin will get past it because it is the ultimate store of value. It is much better than digital. It is much better than gold because it's digital gold. And it's the best hedge ever created. So there's no doubt in my mind that we will get past this. What else is there? Victor asks, what do you think about CRO and their Visa card March 25th? CRO is interesting. I mean, they've always been, Monaco has always been in the news. CRO, they bought Crypto.com. They've been doing a lot of things with DeFi. They kind of did it before anyone else. So, I mean, they're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. And as for their card, I don't know how many people are actually going to use crypto to pay for things, but they are one of the only ones that have it. They're definitely a leader of it. So I think CRO is pretty good. And for a long time, you couldn't buy CRO tokens. Now you can, like on an exchange like KuCoin. So that definitely helps them for at least US residents. Ben, appreciate that. To quote to all CRU noobs, back in 2018, George gave us hope from 20,000 all the way down to 8K. And then I think what you meant to say was even down to 3K and then all the way up to where we are now. What do you think about Fetch AI? I don't believe in AI play for crypto right now. I just think it's too early. Doesn't really, I don't know. I just think we're too early for that. What's the last one there? Great points, Tom. Glad you liked that answer. What else is there? All right, here we go. Does loop ring look super undervalued? I don't know. Loop ring hasn't been around for quite some time. They expanded where they have their own DEX, but their DEX is still relatively small. No one's using it. They've always been a DEX protocol, but now it seems like no one's really using their protocol unless I'm wrong about that. So they are forced to create their own DEX, and it's not really used right now. But I think people recognize them as a good play. They also offer layer 2 solution that not a lot of people are taking advantage of. So I don't know about undervalue. I think they're about right. They're not a small cap. I mean, they're like a mid cap. Jamie asks, XLM seems to be holding well. What are your thoughts on XLM for 2021? That's an interesting question because I actually don't know what they're doing. I don't know of any, game plan, roadmap of what the team plans on doing. So I don't know. And the reason why they're probably holding well is because they have not gone up as much as the others. All these other ones have been flying. Binance Coin, Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink. I mean, they all been flying. Stellar really has not. So that's probably the reason why it has not gone down. Does XRP have a future? Yeah, I'm actually surprised how well it's holding at 42 cents. It dropped down to 20 cents when the SEC lawsuit came out, right? They caught up a little bit. But yeah, that SEC lawsuit is not just against Ripple. It's actually against Brad and Chris Larson. So seems pretty serious. I think they'll have a future. I just don't think it'll be the future of, like what the XRP Army guys think. It's probably somewhere in between. What's your opinion on the Icon? Honestly, I have not kept up with Icon, so I don't know. According to you, it's used by SK and Dano FinTech. Yeah, I have not kept up with them, so can't really comment. Joel, I'm not even going to comment on that, but I appreciate the super chat. I know you covered Zahif. I know you covered on swap tokens. Your thoughts on the difference between Uniswap and Pancake? Is it good to have Cake long term? Yeah, I think Pancake is good. The biggest difference is one is on Ethereum and one is on Binance Smart Chain. That's the ultimate difference. So Uniswap and then SushiSwap, they're congested. I mean, they're not congested, but Ethereum is congested. So to make a trade, to provide for liquidity pool, it costs quite a bit. Where PancakeSwap is on Binance Smart Chain, doesn't have those problems. That's ultimately the difference right now, right? So I think it's good to have PancakeSwap. Walt, appreciate that. Kumar asked, what do you think about Bakery Swap? I think it's also very low. It's not low cap anymore. It's like a mid cap that is a cheaper alternative to PancakeSwap. So I do think it's pretty good. I created a video about both PancakeSwap and Bakery Swap. So if you guys haven't checked those out, you should. Vincent, okay. By the way, what would you say to new people who are doing margin in crypto? I would say don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. I cover liquidations all the time. Even the most seasoned professionals, or they think they're seasoned professionals, get liquidated all the time. I've been liquidated too. So don't play with margin or leverage or put down collateral to borrow against, because days like today will absolutely destroy a lot of people, and days before will destroy a lot of people. There's been billions liquidated recently, right? And that's across all these platforms. So if you're new, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Drew Delgado, appreciate that. Bama Blue Boy. No, Bama Boy Boo. Holding 10K, trying to max a dip, trying to decide if I should buy now, wait a bit longer. Like I always say, don't try to guess. Don't try to guess. Obviously, right now, around 45,000 is lower than where we were before. Hey, this is a good buy. Obviously, this is much lower than, say, 58,000, which means it's a good buy, right? Can we possibly go down more to 40,000? Maybe. But we can also all of a sudden come right back up to 50,000, right? So it's really hard to time. So what I always say is spread out the buys. You go buy with 10,000, you go buy with 1,000, you go buy with 100,000. Spread out. Buy a little, buy a little. That way you can catch it, right? Dollar cost average over the long haul, that's the best way to do it. Anything on ADA pool? There is someone that reached out, Leviathan. I've never heard of them before. Maybe some of you guys have, so you could chime in. But yeah, I know there's a lot of like staking platforms for ADA, right? But there's also pools that you can stake in. And if you stake in a pool, it's about 5.5%, which is pretty good. But yeah, I'm still working on that. Sean, appreciate it. I am George. Hey, you know what? I forgot. I almost forgot. Look at this. My wife painted this. I'm going to try to hang it in my background. I don't know if you guys like it. I think some of you guys like it, but I'm going to try to hang this in the background. Oh, I don't know if that came out right. Yeah, see? I am George. We're all George. Just to show you guys. She just got done with it this afternoon. WTS. Cafe Swap Finance. Amazing project. 1,000 API. That sounds a little bit too high. That seems a little too high. Thoughts on the US dollar, 1.9 trillion coming. Yeah, I think that stimulus package was definitely going to help Bitcoin. I mean, that stimulus package last time helped everything. Stock market, broader market, everything went up. So I do think that it's going to help crypto as well. Yeah, I'm seeing in the comments a lot of you guys like the painting. Maybe some of you guys will want to buy one. Maybe I can convince her to paint some more if you guys are interested. A lot of super chats coming in. QSP Quant Stamp, possible 100x. No. Quant Stamp is not very sexy. It does auditing for smart contracts, and it's not one of those things that could do 100x, in my opinion. It could do 10x, it could do 20x, 100x. I just don't see it. Aaron, James, appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. It's late. I know you guys want to get back to sleep, but honestly, I know none of you guys will be sleeping. You're just going to be checking your portfolio all day, all night tonight, right? But here's the thing. The point of this stream is to calm you guys down, right? Do not fall for it. Do not panic sell. What you want to do is take advantage. You want to take advantage when you can. If you didn't check out my earlier video from this afternoon about top 10 buys, make sure you check that out. A lot of things are bargains right now, so you want to take advantage because you never know when things will turn around. Tomorrow we'll wake up. It could be at 48,000. It could be at 50,000 tomorrow. It could be at 58,000 tomorrow, right? You just don't know. So do the smart thing. Do the smart thing. And collectively, we will get through it. All right. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash with the like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for my video tomorrow. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.